What's up, everybody? It's Jack and Dan.
Yeah, we want to do a big update on the bridge tanks because we haven't done one on them in a long time. And we also have an awesome unboxing from Pelham's Aquatics. Mr. Jeff Pelham, awesome guy, been doing his YouTube channel for about a year. He has been doing fish probably many years before that. He breeds fish. He has a store on Get Gills. He has a YouTube channel. We're going to put all his links in the description. And he sent us some awesome snails. Not too long ago, we got some snails from Foxy's Fish, right?
Yes.
She calls them snabies. They're little baby snails. We put them in our Green Lantern tank and our beta tanks and stuff like that. Some of those have gotten big, not many of them yet. He's got some monster guys. The reason that we were talking to him about this is we've been wanting to put some snails into the bridge tanks. However, we got a big family of striated botea in here, otherwise known as tiger loaches, right? We love them. We've had them in here for quite a few years. There's like a whole family of 15. However, in case you're not aware, loaches and boteas love snails, don't they?
Yeah, they do, and they just kind of eat them.
They eat them if we put little ones in here. So we decided, you know what? Let's try some big ones. Now, we tried putting some small little trumpet snails because we got thousands of those around here, and they ate them. But he's got some real big mystery snails. We kind of figure we're going to try a little experiment, put some in here. We're going to keep an eye on them and watch them. And hopefully they can survive because we'd love to see them kind of going through the bridges and stuff like that. We've also done a lot of things to these tanks and added some other guys, and of course some other things happen. So let's do an update, and then we're going to do an unboxing. These have been sitting in Jack's room, and during the summer we don't have the heaters on, so they're the same temperature by now. We're basically going to open them up, unbox them, open them up, put them in a bucket, acclimate them a little bit to the water, and then put them in. But while Jack's doing that, I'm going to kind of do a run through and some of the things that's been going on in this system. All right, so Jack went to get a knife because he forgot his knife. So he's going to be opening those. And he decided on the new Thor popcorn bucket that we thoroughly cleaned. It's like, I don't know, a little steel bucket that we got from Thor Love and Thunder when we went to see that recently. Again, we're probably going to put all of these guys in there, but then we will add a little bit of water into there and acclimate them and stuff like that. While he's kind of getting the knife and things like that, we're going to run through kind of what's going on here. Hasn't been a ton of changes. We do still have the tube kind of crossed over. This is a hang on the back filter. It goes up above over the lights, and it has a little pre-filter over here in this. What that does is it sucks the water out of this tank, brings it over all the way to this tank. The water then empties into here. It goes through this Aqua-Bridge into this middle tank where we have an under gravel filter, and then back into through this bridge. Oh, there goes one of the Grammies through the bridge right now. The Grammies use this bridge a lot. And then it goes back into this last tank where the pattern starts over. These two end tanks, these 20 talls, do not have any filtration in them other than this hang on the back that they share basically. But the water flows through the entire system, and this one has an under gravel filter. We have never vacuumed any of these tanks. We have never done a water change on any of these tanks. Not really unless we're working on it. We have to take the water down a little bit. And we don't really clean these tanks. There's a lot of plecos in here. They clean them. And of course, up above it, we have the overhead lights that we did, kind of like a hang on the wall type of lights. And then of course we have the huge wall of fame, all of our other friends and YouTubers that we've talked to throughout the last 3.5 years of starting this channel. And right under here is where Jack decided to put Mr. Jeff Pelham's thing right above the Groot sign because there's not really any there. There's just a cord that kind of connects the lights there. But he thought that that was a cool thing.
Spawning Inspiration. That's a good name.
Spawning Inspiration, Pelham's Aquatics. Totally awesome. Now, some of the things that have happened in here is, first of all, the pothos is totally ridiculous, is it not?
It's a lot.
It's crawling. Let's start down here at this tank. It's crawling through. These guys over here, for the most part, have taken off up over the wall of fame and over the lights and down the sides. This one kind of started crawling down the side here and didn't really get any light, so it kind of died off. What we did is we took a little suction cup and we put it to the front here, and lo and behold, as soon as we did that, look at all these leaves that started sprouting out of here. Look at that. So as soon as it got into the light here in the front of the tank, not only from Jack's room, but from the windows and the front lights, that start sprouting. So this may start crawling across here now. This one's doing a big twisty curl. This one, we did the same thing because it was so long. We took some little suction cups. Again, you can get little airline tubing, and you just kind of clip your little pothos on it and stick it to the tank. So this one is crawling across here and going back behind the tank here. These kind of guys are coming up. This one goes all the way up to the Wall of Fame and back down. We hung out an old sculpture. Didn't you make that owl in like kindergarten or something like that?
Yeah, we were supposed to make an owl, and I made a Jabba the Hutt owl.
Jabba the Hutt owl. That's why we put it by Daniel Keeping Fish, because he loves Star Wars, right? And basically, these guys are going down. Now, the other day we came in here after coming back from Atlantic City. While Pamela and I were gone, you were hanging out with Grandma and your sister. And you said, hey, Dad, this pothos over here is taking root in my carpet. So we pull this back. This guy started heading for the window here behind the drape. And these little nodules just started digging into the carpet. Isn't that crazy? So we're actually going to separate that off. We're going to probably break it off. And what we do is we just take it up to the top and we'll stick it back in one of these holes and it'll start growing again. And you can see the roots. We also had to kind of swoop some of these roots over. A lot of these roots started going down into the gravel, digging into the other gravel system. So we just kind of pulled them out and swooped them over. The gouramis love the roots. They swim through these roots. They absolutely dig them. And they pull out all these, nitrates. Again, we don't ever, well, we haven't in quite a long time done any sort of water change on this at all. There's so much pothos in this, it pulls it right out. So anyway, that's how the pothos is doing, the filtration system is doing. Now, we did do a video about 6 months ago on this pump that Higer sent us, and we had a bunch of old pumps in there together, and we replaced those with that one. And as you can see, it is still doing very well. It fuels each one of those lines. There's 2 lines, and we have them wide off each side, and that fuels these 4 under gravel kind of towers that pull the air out. Now, we did do, like we do about every few months, take a little bicycle pump, plug it onto there, and give them a big old burst, and that does help to kind of keep them going. You can see that they do have a tendency down in there to get clogged up and stuff. And again, if you've never done that, there's one of the striated loaches that we talked about, by the way. Aren't they just the cutest little guys ever? Tons of those guys in here. But anyway, we just do that. It just kind of blows those out, and then they're working again. Also, the only 2 heaters that we have in this tank are in this tank because we just thought they were too noticeable in these, and we didn't want to put them in there, so we kind of hung them behind the stacks. Again, we always have 2 heaters, one as a backup, but they are the same. Again, in the wintertime, we don't have those going, but since the water passes through, these 2 outside tanks are exactly the same temperature as the inside tank. They have the same chemistry. The water flows through them as if it is one big long tank. And again, if you haven't seen those videos, you can check our playlist. Just go to our Aquarium playlist and scroll down and to some of the earlier videos we posted. So, all that being said, we also added some fish, didn't we, dude?
Yes.
What are some of the fish? Oh, there goes one of the guys through the thing. That's one of the big old female gouramis. She's coming down. There she is. Now, when we first moved here about 10 years ago, we had these female gouramis. They were babies. There are 4 golden girls. One of them has died in about the past year. There are still 3 of them. Wasn't it ironic, too, because didn't one of them die, like, in the news, like, right when ours died? I can't remember.
The last one. Betty White died.
Betty White died. That's right. Yeah. That's right when ours died.
Right before New Year's.
Right before New Year's, about 7 months ago or so. So we do still have, that's one of the real big females back there. And then one of the other ones is, let me see, I think right there. Oh, right there. Nope, that is not her. Well, sometimes they're hiding in the bridges. Oh, there she is, speak of the devil. There's one of the older ones there. You can see her fins kind of down, and she's kind of missing some scales. Again, about 10, 11 years old, something like that. Now, this is one of the males we got a while ago. Look at this beauty. Look at this golden beauty. What we did is we went to the store because we didn't have a lot of fish left in here. We had the striated loaches, we had the albino plecos, and we said, you know what, we got to get some more. And somebody had returned a whole bunch, and that they had at home in a tank. They were breeding, and they weren't doing so well. And they said, okay, so we got some males. That's one of the big males back there, but he just went back there. He's kind of skittish. And so we decided to try to get some males and females to see if they could breed. Now, some of these guys are mixed, and they're called, what do they call them again? when they're a mixture of blue and gold?
I do not know.
Yeah, translucent or lavender. Lavender, that's what they call them. So you can see if you look at this guy here, this is a male, still has some gold color, but also blue. Those are called lavender. See the gold on the bottom? And they still have like the red eye. So apparently someone was kind of breeding the blue and gold together, and those are then called lavender, and we took a bunch of them. Some of them grew up a little bit and looked a little more blue. Some of them looked a little more gold. It just kind of depends. There was also someone who was breeding some pearl gourami. Look at these gorgeous pearl gourami. These guys were pretty small. We got about 10 of these guys. They are absolutely beautiful. Oh, something fell and this guy went after it. And then I scared him. Look at the feelers. Those front feelers on these guys. They're way longer than their body even. So basically, we put some pearl gourami in here as babies. They lived, they're doing great. We put some little baby gourami in here. Most of them have grown up. And these older ladies here are just kind of, oh look, she's waving with her little tentacle as we're talking to her. But aren't those beautiful? Look at the markings on these older ladies. They're still doing pretty well. You know, 10, 11 years old or something like that. Look at those guys. So we've got more gouramis. We love the pearls. We love the way that these guys all get together. There's the two older ladies together. Look at the stripes. Look at the markings on those guys. So we also had a whole bunch of hill stream loaches in here, didn't we?
Yeah, we had quite a few.
I would say somewhere around 15 or 20. I don't even know. We've got some at different times. And for the most part, the plecos and hill stream loaches got along. There wasn't much of a problem. The striated loaches kind of kept to their own thing. They didn't have any problems with anybody. Same thing as always, though. We went on vacation. Again, you were with your sister and grandma and stuff. Pamela and I went to Atlantic City for her birthday. We came home. All the hill streams were gone.
Yeah.
Absolutely gone.
I mean, there was still a little bit of them left.
Well, there was like remnants.
Yeah,
we looked down here, and you can find like some bones, basically, in the bottom. Now, obviously, this made us very upset, but this is just one of those things that we can't really control. We did notice some slight tiffs between the plecos and hill streams. None of them ever killed each other, but you know, these plecos do breed quite a bit. And there was plecos throughout all three tanks and hill stream loaches throughout all three tanks. And you can see some of the bones over here too. Something went awry. There's one of the little girls, little female albino bristlenose. Something went awry, and it's kind of like one of those things that were like, well, you know what? Jack and Dan are gone. We're going to off these dudes when they're gone. It was like a big gang war, turf war.
Sure, if that's what you want to call it.
And the plecos won, apparently, because all the plecos were unharmed, and they were eating the bones of all of the hill stream loaches. So we are very sad about that. Probably not going to bother adding any more hill streams in this. They were in here for, I don't know, 2 years or something like that, right?
Just about, yeah.
And we had added more throughout time too, but there was quite a few, and they were in here. And again, there was a little friction here and there, but no real battles or anything. No. So always happens when we leave.
I mean, we don't even know if they killed them for sure, but
yeah, there's one of the big females right there.
They could have just been fighting each other, but that's kind of...
Yeah, but for them to all be completely gone and eaten in a matter of like 6 or 7 days, that's crazy. But hey, that's how it goes sometimes. So isn't it kind of neat though when you look at these, like sometimes all the gouramis are in this one, and then they like go all over to this one. So you never know when you walk in here like which one of these tanks is going to have the bigger concentration. Sometimes they follow each other. This is one of the little striated guys.
It's mostly in the middle though.
Yeah. Hanging out in the pleco cave. You see him just stick his nose out there.
But otherwise, there hasn't been any major deaths in the bridge tank.
No, there hasn't been really any issues or any problems other than that. Like I said, one of the golden girls died, and that. So these little guys is what we're a little bit concerned about. These striated loaches zip around in these little things. You can kind of see them always poking their heads and their noses out. They zip from this little colony of rocks over to this other one, and they hang out in the car a lot, and they go through all of this. And they do go over to the bridge tanks, not as often as the gourami, but they do. And sometimes you can find them in these things. This is the one that's an old toothbrush holder we found for 99 cents at the clearance rack, and we put it in here, and the plecos breed in there. Isn't that great? But anyway, that's the lowdown. That's the story. While Jack is doing, I'm going to go ahead and take this guy off and stick him up here. And Jack's going to open this box, and let's get to that. Okay, Jack's going to start cutting open the box. I just want to kind of show you guys. Just clip this off right here. That'll just take on where it left off. And just put it over here on the top. And it'll end up like laying down and, you know, kind of setting more comfortably, and it'll find a new home. Some of these guys we may end up taking off and putting in the pond that we're working on right now, or other tanks or something like that. Maybe even adding more to the beta tanks, because we're going to add a 4th tank to those shelves and things like that. So, you know, because it's just getting out of line here, really. All right. Where are we at here, man? We actually posted the video of Mr. Pelham boxing these up on our community page. So we will leave that there. If you want to check that out, you can actually see it. We've got a note. What's it say?
To Jack and Dan and Lacey, George C. for Costanza, and the rest of the family. Have a wonderful day.
That's awesome, man. That'll go up on the wall of fame, too. Jeff. Yes, Jeff is Mr. Pelham's first name. All right, so he's got a nice styrofoam box.
Moist newspaper.
Yeah, that's because it's got some cold packs because it's like so hot. It's a nice little cold pack in there. Is that still cold?
Yeah. Decent
Yep.
enough.
Yes, still a little cold. Still a little cool, so that's good. Yeah, there was a delay on this. We actually walked out to the UPS lady. She pulled up to our house. We were out there doing yard work. You walked up to her, and you said, hey, you got our snail package. And she looked and she couldn't find it. She said there must have been a mess up. So they screwed up, actually, at UPS, and then they brought it the next morning. So that's all that's in there is this container?
Yeah, we gotta be real careful.
All right, let's pop it open, see what's going on.
Freaking Meyer containers. Bulletproof.
You're afraid it's going to pop open and go flying?
I'm just trying to be careful.
Yeah. Here, I'll hold. There you go. Oh, wow. Look at these guys. There's some giants, man. So some golden ones. We've got some like ivory
it's
ones.
A big one right there.
Yeah. And there's some chestnut type of ones. So here's what we're going to, and then there's some other ones in here.
The smell.
So
It
here's
smells alright, but it's a little stanky.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're snails. And it looks like there's even some little babies that rode along for the ride. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a little bit of water from the tank. We're going to put it in here. We're going to let these guys kind of wake up a little bit. And we're not just going to drop them in the tank. So we're going to do that first. And I'll be right back. All right. So these guys are starting to wake up here. Oh, I must have scared him when I started talking. He had his antenna out there. So they're starting to wake up. We're going to go ahead and take them and put them in here. Jack kind of had a pretty good idea. He was suggesting just maybe put about half of them in this tank and half of them in that tank because the striated loaches mainly hang out in here. Again, one or two once in a while we'll kind of venture over to these, and then we'll just kind of see what happens. If the striated loaches start, funneling through the bridges and attacking them and stuff, we'll take them out. We'll put them somewhere else. If the snails venture through, if they go up around and they somehow make their way, because they can go across the top of the water. We've done videos on that as well. Snails can kind of go across the surface area of the water. And so if they make their way to the bridge and they go through the bridge to the middle tank and they start getting ganged up on, then we'll take them out. All right, well, I was shooting some of that other footage. Jack was reading this thing, kind of going over it. We want to give a big shout out to Mr. Pelham for using environmentally friendly ice packs. You were reading the back of this, pretty neat. It's basically like a plant-based type of fertilizer.
It says, pour non-toxic, 100% drain-safe contents into a drain with running water, which just means that it's non-toxic.
Or you can put it like in your garden.
You can do plant food, too. You can make it as plant food.
Use it as a plant fertilizer.
And
Isn't that cool?
You can reuse it multiple times.
So shout out to Jeff and shout out to...
And the plastic can be reused also.
Enviro Ice. Yeah, well, so I believe once you pour the stuff out of it and then the bag is, what do you call it, recyclable. Anyway, super cool company. Check them out if you're shipping fish and stuff like that and be environmentally friendly like Mr. Pelham. All right, here's one of the big chestnut guys we got from Foxy's Fish that we took out of the Green Lantern tank and put in with Wade Wilson, aka Deadpool, our beta, our red beta. He's in this big pothos tank. Look at this beauty right here. So some of them have gotten pretty big. We will be doing a follow-up on some of the other guys in the Green Lantern tank when we do a follow-up on there soon. But yeah, it doesn't want to focus. It's trying to focus on my Aquarius symbol back there. But anyway, that's him. One of the guys. There are some ram snails in here. There are some other small ones. There's one of, like, I think the jade ones right there. He is feeding on a pellet that we threw in there not too long ago. There's some of the ram horns guys we have. Yeah, but this is one of the big beauties that we do have. Just back up in case you haven't seen our beta tank. That's Wade Wilson's tank. Wade Wilson, aka Deadpool, right here. Haven't shown him in a while. He's looking beautiful. He's happy. How you doing, buddy? And we're getting ready to breed him. We'll be breeding him pretty soon with Mary Bromfield from down here in the Princess tank. Mary Bromfield, aka Lady Shazam. She's a beast. That'll be coming up soon. Okay, so we're back over here in Jack's room and just showing these grommies again. They're all just kind of hanging out in these roots. They love these roots. You can see that these roots are very clean. One of the main things that all these plecos and all these tiger loaches do is they just clean all these roots. They just clean them all off. And these roots just suck up all those baddies out of here. There's one little guy right there. That's one of the little girls. Look at, there you go. Cleaning that root. Sometimes they will eat them if they are, you know, like kind of rotten or if they get disconnected. Sometimes if they get disconnected and fall off, we'll put them in the, in fact, we should show you that real quick. I forgot to show you that. This is the man cave tank that we made for Wade after we breed him. You can see this pothos is coming up in front of it, but one of those little segments that just kind of like broke off, we just tossed in here. And you can see the roots go back behind this stone and they come over here. It actually started growing into the gravel and growing leaves in here. We have these little autosyncluses guys in here, these little algae eaters. That's all we kind of have in here, just keeping things clean. And this tank's just pretty much waiting for Wade after we breed him. But isn't that neat? Look at that, how those roots kind of took behind there. That's just a little piece of pothos that broke off and the plecos were kind of eating it, and I put it in here and it kind of came back to life and started growing. Isn't that neat? That's the little man cave. So after we breed Wade, we're probably gonna put him in here and the babies will stay up here in here. Oh, there's that chestnut snail again. He's all the way up here on the top of the bamboo. He'll go up there. Look at that shiny shell. The little guys go around and clean their shell off. Now, I have heard that they can sometimes pit him and stuff, but he's been in here with them for a couple months now, and his shell's doing really good. So they must not be harming him. That one ram's horn, pretty big. Not as big as him, but pretty big. All right, Jack's gonna film me. I love this big golden guy. He was one of the first ones to wake up. Again, just kind of acclimating them a little bit. They seem to wake up pretty fast. We're gonna go ahead and just kind of drop them down in there. Yeah, super cool. You want them face down, that's easier then. And again, they're gonna float down nice and easy and they're gonna hit the sand. They're gonna be super cool. We're just gonna kind of put a variety of the different colors in here. And this one is chestnut kind of looking ones. And I'm gonna put him over here. Nice and easy. Oh look, landed perfect. He flipped around, isn't that cool? And we're just gonna basically, oh, this guy's really opened up. Look at him, he didn't even close when I took him out of the water. They must like this water. I mean, this water is super awesome because, again, it's very well cultured and we kind of, there he goes. He'll probably be able to flip over pretty good. He stayed open. He didn't even close when I dropped him. Look at that. Let a few air bubbles out. So, yeah, I mean, they must just like this water. They'll probably acclimate very, very quickly and open up and start walking around and everything. So we're going to put the rest in here, and then we'll follow back up in a minute and kind of see if they're crawling around and everything. All right, so after just a few minutes of throwing these little algae wafers in, these guys are already opening up. We're still going to give them a little bit of a time. We'll follow back up. We're not going to make a second video. We're just going to put it at the end of this video so you can see how they're doing. Now, we like to use these mini ones in this tank, don't we, dude?
Yes, the plecos do like them a lot.
I mean, the plecos, the striated botia, tiger loaches, the gourami. Actually, a lot of people don't realize gourami need a lot of fiber. They are omnivorous, but they really do like, you know, eat like an herbivore almost. So that's one of the reasons all these guys get along. We throw a ton of these guys in here, and they love them. And it kind of keeps them from fighting by using these mini ones. We've done little shorts where the striated loach kind of steals these away from the gourami. So if you've never seen that, it's a cute little short. He goes up to a bunch of the other fish and steals them. So anyway, we throw a big handful of these in each one of these 3 tanks every day, and they just annihilate them. And then we also feed fish food and flake food to the gouramis, and of course the remnants fall and that kind of stuff. And the other guys get them. But we also throw in little chunks of this. We use these big sepia bones as a calcium supplement for our turtles, but also helps to shave their beaks back a little bit by biting them.
Sharpening them, kind of, but shaving them back, yes. And they do like to munch on it. It's a nice snack for them.
Yeah, and we throw one of those in every few weeks into the turtles, and we break a little end off and we throw it in all of our other tanks because the snails will eat them, and it's a great calcium supplement for them as well. Since we have them and since we're throwing them with the turtles, we just use that. Now, there's lots of other calcium supplements you can use and that people utilize, but we just use those because we get them anyway. We find them usually on clearance, and we get a bunch at once. They're only about 99 cents to $1.50 a piece, and again, they last the turtles quite a few weeks. But what we did is we threw a bunch of these little guys in, and we're going to follow up here in a minute. We're going to see how these guys are all doing. This young lady came across. She can always tell. These older gouramis really kind of know us. They know what we look like, and they know when we're feeding. And they saw me kind of dumping these guys in here, and she didn't want to wait. So she zoomed right through and came right over to here. It's amazing how intelligent these guys are, and they know, you know, what's going on in this system and figured it out. A lot of people are like, do the fish even use the bridges? They use them literally all the time. And like I said, even when, you know, if Jack's putting food in here or in one of these other tanks, if they see that, they'll zoom right through and come and get it. I mean, they know exactly how it works and how to do it. Look how these old ladies kind of liven up when they get these algae wafers, too. I mean, she just sparks right up. But those markings are something really, really gorgeous, gorgeous. The older that they get, the more that they show up. It's really amazing. Look at them. They just grab those. They just grab those pleco wafers. Yeah, the gouramis don't worry about the striated loaches, but they will steal them away from them. Beauties, though. Look at that beauty. One of my absolute favorites right there. She is unbelievable. Look at this big golden one opening up. Look at this one. I want to eat those pellets. Now, obviously, the remaining bones of the hillstream loaches, again, I laugh about it because what are you going to do? Are probably going to be enough calcium to last this tank for a while. We simply left what was remaining in here, and these snails and the plecos and everything will just eat them. But when we notice that they're gone, we'll start to put little pieces of the sepia bones in here. This is just an absolute gorgeous one. Look at the antenna already opening up in this guy. Totally gorgeous. Look at this guy coming out. Look at this guy. See how they kind of rectify themselves? They kind of open up and they tilt themselves over. And they get on the base there. Super cool. What a beauty. There they go. Look at that. Look at those antennae. They're going to love being in this system, I think. All right. Wow. This is the end tank over here where the inlet to the hanging the back filter is. Look at this big golden guy right here opening up and looking around. He is checking it out. Wow, look at the antenna on that guy. He's something. Some of these other guys just started opening up too. Look at this guy. He jumped all the way to the top. He's already crawling up to the top. See if I can focus on this guy. It's hard with the roots. Oh, there he is. The roots mess it up sometimes. It's one of the chestnut kind of dudes. He is crawling up the back already. But these guys down here, oops, they're kind of starting to open up a little bit. Oh, there goes that one there. He's just starting to open up. So like I said, they'll definitely kind of clean up these bottoms a little better and stuff like that. And once they do, we'll start adding some more pieces of bones and things like that. See everybody kind of eating their algae wafers. If they do make it up over to this main tank, we'll just kind of watch what's going on. Now there is some striated loaches over here in this one. You can see this huge. Look at this big guy, dude. Wow. So I guess he's already up the side of the glass too.
Researching all there is.
Yeah, he's just way up at the top already.
Around with his antennas.
Yeah, so neat. He's big. I mean, just to show you how big he is. See if I can focus here. I mean, there's my thumb. I mean, look how big that dude is right there. Look at those antennae. They're both curved back. That's neat.
He's climbing.
This one right here, another pretty big one. He's on the wood. He's checking things out. Now, again, that striated loach, been watching him. There is a couple over here. This one in particular doesn't seem to be messing with him at all. They're just so much bigger than them. So I don't think that they will. But again, we're going to kind of keep an eye on things. And it doesn't seem like the gourami are interested. It doesn't seem like anybody's really messing with them. We'll kind of keep an eye on things and definitely, you know, do another follow-up on this tank and these guys and everything soon anyway. So what do you think of these guys? Pretty cool, huh?
They're neat. Yeah, I do like them. They do look like chestnuts for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I've always really had snails in every aquarium I've ever had. All kind of different kind of snails. We've had snails in our aquarium since Jack's been born, started having aquariums. But ultimately, we like loaches a lot. And so sometimes they don't go together so well, right? And we have a lot of clown loaches. We have a lot of other things like that. So we hope that these guys work out. We want to thank Mr. Pelham so much. We want to definitely encourage people, if you're into fish, he has an awesome channel. Again, we'll put all of his links down below of all his information. We really appreciate you sending us these and, you know, kind of sharing some of your knowledge and experience with us as well. And we will definitely be doing some sort of follow-up on these guys. We'll probably do some shorts. We like to do little shorts of the fish a lot because they're cool little things that we just can throw out there and share with people, and helps to bring people to the channel and things like that too when they see that. So thanks again, and take care, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.